How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Celtics pregame live. I am your host of the day, Rob. I'm with my co-host, Justin. Justin, we got yet another fun one here as the Boston Celtics hopefully, tip off at 5 against
Yeah.
the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, both teams undefeated. Boston Celtics 3-0, Philly 2-0. You got that little Celtics Sixers rival. What are you looking for tonight?
Uh, yeah. Well, despite it being summer league, and we tend to put this, kind of scrimmage stuff aside, I'm really interested to see how this Celtics young team goes against this Phillies young guys. And now we get to understand. We'll get into it later. Pritchard is out for the Celtics. Maxey is out for the Sixers. So obviously, two of the team's aces are both out tonight, so that should impact the teams greatly. But that should also open up opportunities for both these teams, especially the Celtics, where we saw Carson Edwards go down and we saw Sam Hauser step up and play some big minutes. What was it? Was it last night or the night before?
Night before,
And
yeah.
yeah, and hey, the Celtics got to get stuff going here. They were without Langford, they were without Edwards for the second half. They're going to be without Pritchard tonight. So let's see some unlikely sources.
Yeah, I mean, you always say that, and like we said, yes, it is the summer league. Luckily, Edwards and Langford will both be playing. We didn't have them last game, so that
Yep.
will help. Like we said, Pritchard is out, so I'm kind of excited to see what the Celtics are going to do now. Now that Pritchard isn't playing, like we said, that's right around 20 points. We're gonna have to find an unlikely
Mm-hmm.
source. I would love to see if not Aaron Neesmith. I'm sorry, Romeo Langford now will step up.
Yep.
Um, because he kind of has taken a little bit not of a back seat, but he has not
It's
really
been
been the
quiet.
standout. Yeah, not really been the standout player throughout the summer league. But with that being said, it just gives you something to look forward to with Pritchard not being there anymore.
Yeah, it opens up opportunities, and right after right after Sam Hauser scored 21, he officially signed a two-way deal with the Celtics. And I also got a little breaking news here on air. Tremont Waters, former Celtics guard, has signed with with the Houston Rockets for the remainder of the summer league. Houston,
Oh,
lost last night,
wow.
but yeah, so that's a huge opportunity for Tremont Waters. And a guy who Tremont was drafted with is Carson Edwards, who will play tonight after missing the second half. I think this is. I'd like to see some scoring from him, although he hasn't really looked that bad during this summer league. He's looked particularly well. Um, I want to see guys score tonight, and it's funny because scoring hasn't seemed to be the problem for the Celtics or their
Not at
defense.
all.
They're 3-0. They're averaging like 105 points, I believe, as well as they haven't given up more than 90 points this summer league. Think of that. They've given up 83, 80, I think 83, 82, and then 71. So as the summer league's gone on, their opponents have scored less and less points. So hopefully that's the case tonight, especially it being the Sixers. I don't care if it's summer league. I want to I want this is rivalry. I want to throttle this.
Well, definitely, and if we're looking for a shot at the championship, this is a big game. You got to
Yep.
win you got to most likely either lose one game or go undefeated if you want to be in that championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So like we said, Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers tipping off at 5 o'clock. We say 5 o'clock with our fingers crossed because like we said before, last game we tipped off right around an hour
Yeah.
past
That
tip
was a
off
big
time.
reason as to why we didn't have a post game show
Post
either. We
game
both
show, yeah.
we both were just but that was they went into double overtime the Brooklyn game, and then after the Brooklyn game it was still another 10 to 15 minutes. Celtics didn't tip off till around 7:45, nearly 8 o'clock. They were scheduled for 7, so that really threw things off.
For sure. But, someone we've briefly talked about, but someone who I want to talk about now, not necessarily on the Summer League scale of things, but Peyton Pritchard had just been pulled from the Summer League. He did average 20 points, right around 9 assists, 5 rebounds on 2 steals, 57%, 58% from beyond the arc, which, if you don't know, that is unbelievably.
Astronomical. Yeah.
Yeah. So, But, like we said, Peyton Pritchard showed signs of, he didn't really belong in the summer league. Him and, Aaron Nesmith, but Nesmith will stay. Um, what does this summer league show you about Peyton Pritchard in this upcoming season? If it
Well,
shows you anything.
it shows that he has a lot of confidence, right? He went into the summer league with such a swagger, and players need to have that. They have something to prove. They have a little chip on their shoulder. Peyton Pritchard coming off of he played well, but just a very, rookie, very scrappy rookie year. It was a weird, odd rookie year for him. No summer league, barely a preseason, barely training camp, and then a shortened season. So I think Peyton Pritchard proved a lot. Although, and you know what's awesome is we know he can play like this against true NBA competition, not just second and third year players.
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard's played like this all season. Just luckily, he's the ace. He was the ace on the team, so obviously he was the number one option. Whereas opposed to during the season, obviously Tatum and Brown are the number one options. So it's really nice to see Peyton Pritchard venture out, and he shoots with such confidence. And something that really sticks out to me about Pritchard is he's going to be really crucial, really important next year in the rotation, because the Celtics are going to need scoring as well as playmaking, right? That's playmaking is the whole reason why we got Schroeder. He's a great playmaker and a defender. And then besides Tatum and Brown, your offense is kind of, struggling. So that's why you need guys like Pritchard off the bench.
Well, yeah. Well, I've been saying it all summer league. Something I wanted to see out of Peyton Pritchard was a source of non-scoring positive effect on the game. Because like I've been saying too many times, we saw Peyton Pritchard check into the game, shot wasn't falling, kind of hit himself in the offense, didn't really contribute anything, in which ultimately led to, he obviously wasn't the only one, but led to some Celtics losses because of the bench's lack of production. Something Peyton Pritchard showed us this summer league, showed me at least, was that, he's going to make an effect now. He's kind of found ways to, he's going to play make, right? He's in the game, he's going to give you 4 or 5 dishes, right? He's going to look for the pick and roll. He's going to try to find a source of offense that doesn't necessarily come from just shooting threes or, just scoring the basketball, which is absolutely huge when you're a point guard the size of Peyton Pritchard, who can't really make that effect defensively, even if he wanted to.
Correct.
And alongside with Peyton Pritchard, we could talk about, Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith is the same thing. He's been showing positive effects of, I'm going to make a difference, not just scoring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what impresses me the most out of this little stat line here, you guys might see on the bottom of your screen, is 5 rebounds. Peyton Pritchard's a point guard and 2 steals. That just shows he's just a hustler, right? He's everywhere. Same thing with Aaron Nesmith. And that's why I think it's so important that these guys got the development that they did. Many people might have thought that, these guys don't need summer league. Well, they most certainly do. Peyton Pritchard, being pulled from summer league, it was planned. The Celtics had planned to, win or lose all 3 games. They planned Pritchard to play 3 games, and whatever happened there happened. Obviously this Peyton Pritchard has proved himself to earn a serious spot in the rotation. And we're going to look at Emi on this one because Brad Stevens is no longer distributing the minutes. So we don't know how rotations go. We see all these lineups and everything, and we don't know how it's going to go. And I think Pritchard just balled out in the summer league. I wish he stayed because we have a legitimate shot at a summer league championship. Many people don't care about that, but I just think it brings so much confidence, because there's 7 players on this roster that play for the Celtics. So that brings confidence into the locker room.
It definitely does. And, something that the Boston Celtics, you've noticed a certain direction, this roster has gone in its defense. And, with the addition of Chris Dunn at point guard, right? Dunn could be considered to be a legitimate backup point guard in the NBA. And, that means, the pressure's on Pritchard right now. We don't know, there have been talks about Smart really being the primary ball handler for the Celtics, team. So we don't know what Dunn and Pritchard's production is going to be like. But, if you're Peyton Pritchard, you got to be thinking to yourself, man, you couldn't be happy with how that went. Your team went 3-0. You put up a stat line of 20 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, 2 steals. So, he played phenomenal. So, like we said, does the summer league really, really mean these guys are going to be putting up those stats in the regular season? Not at all. It doesn't. He's not going to be averaging 20 points.
Mm.
But you gotta look at that and be like, between confidence, between showing us he can play in a real rotation, you gotta be positive about that. And I think that's great thing. Peyton Pritchard's gonna be huge for us, I think.
Yeah, and you know, God forbid these guys get hurt, right?
Yeah.
We the last thing we want to do is see Peyton Pritchard get hurt. Luckily, he had a decently healthy rookie year, and sophomore year is a very tough year. It's rumored to be a tough year in the NBA. So
Hmm.
let's just hope Peyton Pritchard can stay healthy, and I think we should be ultimately be glad that the Celtics have nearly made it out of the summer league healthy. I hope I didn't just jinx us,
I
but
know.
you know
That's been huge.
yeah, I mean
Especially
Carson
Langford.
Edwards, yeah, especially Langford, right? Where Langford's so injury prone, unfortunately, and luckily that Carson Edwards, a head collision, just lacerated his ear. Got some stitches. He's good to go. So that's very fortunate that the injury report has been non-existent so far in Vegas.
Yeah, we're gonna really need that to carry over into this upcoming
Hmm.
season. And something I also want to talk about, right? Less so summer league related, but it is still summer league. We're gonna get into our three keys to the game in just a bit, but it is with Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith, because these two have been playing so well in the summer league, right? Do you think this has kind of solidified themselves into the potential, like the bench rotation, in terms of they will be in that nine man rotation?
Well, like I said, I really don't know what to expect because Emi is in control of the rotation and the minutes and the reps. Um, I also don't know if the roster's final, but I
Yeah.
definitely think that these guys earn every second, every minute that they get on the court. They earn it. Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith. Last year I think Aaron Nesmith just you could tell he earned the minutes. Brad Stevens, again, I know Brad isn't in control of the minutes, but just going back to last season, Aaron Nesmith earned his minutes by hustling, not by hitting shots. The hitting shots was additional, right? So is it going to be different next year where we're such a defensive minded team that
Yeah.
hustling and locking down on defense is going to be, what gets you minutes, and then making shots is a cherry on top. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I definitely think Pritchard and Nesmith maybe not solidified themselves a spot, but definitely, they've leveled up. They've leveled up. Whether again, Emi's in control of the minutes.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We both think Neesmith is going to be a huge part of this upcoming
Mhm.
Celtics roster. But with that being said, this brings us to the Celtics Talk Weekly's three keys to the game. Like I said, to start the episode, I'll start us off with my first key, and that is to find a source like Romeo Langford. Get Romeo Langford the ball, and I want to see Romeo Langford, both offensive and defensively, take over this game. We've yet to see it.
Yeah, another one for me is move the basketball. The Boston Celtics broke a summer league record last game with assists. Just move the basketball, find open shots, and don't forget you're missing 8 assists here from Peyton Pritchard, right? Um, so just move the basketball around and create open look, whether it's at the basket or at the three. We've been knocking down the threes this summer league like crazy. Just move the basketball around.
Also, my last key to the game is rebound.
Hmm.
The Boston Celtics are a very undersized basketball club. They do not, have the advantage in size. So, this game really makes sure you crash the glass. We saw a couple times over the summer league where we've seen guys like Pritchard and Neesmith and Langford come in and they get 8 rebounds, get 9 rebounds. That's huge. Continue to do that and hustle hard.
What do we take over from last game? What do we say that we talk about this every show? How can we get better for this game? What do the Celtics need to do in order to come out tonight and dominate once again?
I feel like over the course of the summer league, the Celtics have been great on offense, but it's all started with defensive stops.
Mhm.
So like we saw it, Pritchard's been getting 2 steals a game. Neesmith and Langford, and we've honestly seen Yam check in and give us some good hustle minutes. So I think it all starts on the defensive side of the ball. Continue to get those stops on defense and then execute on offense.
Yeah, it's all about hustling. I'm really excited tonight to see the Celtics energy from the get go. Right? I mean, they're coming into this game breaking a Las Vegas Summer League record. They're coming off of this game, winning by what was it, 38, something insane. So there's a lot coming into this game. The Celtics should be riding in a lot of confidence. You're also going to be short Peyton Pritchard, who's been providing you over 20 points a game. So the Celtics really need to know the position they're in. Sam Hauser said at the end of the game in his press conference said, we didn't come here to lose. We came here to win. So obviously they're very aware that they're in position to, be crowned Summer League champion. So I'm really interested to see how the Celtics come into this game and the type of energy from the tip. I mean, the energy from the tip the last two games especially was just immaculate, and I'm really excited to see, if it transfers over to tonight.
Yeah, like we said, it's exciting, right? Because it's the summer league, and yeah, we're big time Celtics fans, so the average Joe Schmo won't get as excited. But there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot really to look into this team, into these games, a lot more than you may think. So, like we said, Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers tonight at 5 o'clock on NBC Sports Boston. Now, that brings us to the end of the Summer League, but, there are Celtics-related stuff that's happening outside of the Summer League. We did find out today, news broke that Isaiah Thomas has been speaking to 4 undisclosed teams. When Isaiah was asked about these talks, he did say there has been little talks and that he knows everyone would appreciate and love and Isaiah Thomas returned back to Boston. Justin, I got a couple questions. One, do you think this will happen? And two, how will react if this happens?
It seems as if the more we talk about it, the less likely chance we get, and we just hype ourselves up. Don't get me wrong, Isaiah Thomas, I want him back so incredibly bad. I don't know what type of contract he'd get. I don't know what roster moves would have to happen. I'd really have to look into that. But an Isaiah to Boston return, even if it's a 1-year deal, a vet minimum, you get him on the bench and, he plays 10 minutes a game. I think he'd accept that role. He just wants an opportunity. I'd be nothing but the energy would just go through the roof. I'd be so incredibly hyped up. And I wouldn't be surprised because Isaiah Thomas deserves an opportunity in the NBA. And this isn't me because the type of historic play he provided for this franchise, as and me watching as a fan, he legitimately is ready to get back into the NBA. I think the big question is, can he stay healthy? And I don't think teams want to find that out. And I think teams should find that out because I think he can stay healthy and I think he could provide great minutes.
I completely agree. I think, Isaiah Thomas has a real shot at, contributing in a big time role in a successful NBA team. I think a team definitely has to give him a shot. I don't know if it is Boston, but, I've heard rumors of Lakers. As a Celtics fan, I really would not like that. But, wherever he ends up, I'm going to root for him.
Yeah.
But, you talked about what type of roster moves would have to be made in order for him to come here. That brings us to talk about this Boston Celtics lineup. If you don't follow us on Instagram, go follow us on Instagram. But we did send out a post of a potential starting lineup. And within those comments, there's been a lot of talk of, where they see us finishing with this current lineup, the way it's constructed right now. It might not be final. So that brings me to ask you this question, Justin. Where do you see the Boston Celtics finishing the 2021-2022 NBA season at?
It depends what other roster moves are made from other teams. It also depends on what teams can stay healthy. But I can legitimately see this team top 5 in the East. Top 5, hands down. Look, Celtics drastically improved, right? They improved their defense. I'd say they did lose a little bit of offense. But the main problem last year was bench depth and defense. We were a horrible defensive team in the bottom half of the league. Celtics, Brad Stevens was able to kind of switch the focus of this franchise. I shouldn't say franchise,
Direction.
but direction. The Celtics have been known for a defensive team, and like I've said, the offense is the cherry on top.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've had a good defensive point guard since Rajon Rondo?
Oh, geez. I mean, it's been Rondo since Rondo.
Right, right. And notice that the star point guards that we had, unfortunately, Isaiah didn't work out. If Isaiah wasn't having a great night, he wasn't providing you anything on defense. Same thing with Kyrie. Same thing with Kemba when Kemba played.
Yeah.
And right now we're not going to have to rely on Dennis Schroeder to hit a big time shot or put up 30. Although I think he's capable of it, and I think it might happen, once in a while. If he's not, good on defense, or if he's not good on offense, just like Richardson, just like Dunn, he's going to be great on defense. And that's what Brad Stevens was able to do. And that's, I see this team top 5. It definitely top 3 defensive team in the league as well.
So when you look at past Boston Celtics teams, right, one thing that is consistent is defense, right? If you look at the 2016-17 team, their offense came between Bradley, Isaiah Thomas, and Al Horford, right? But the only true scorer in that big three was Isaiah Thomas. The rest were kind of Bradley and Horford were defense first. They're going to provide on offense second. If you look at this Boston Celtics team, right, they have done such a good job, like you said, providing a defensive support for Jason and Jalen, right? We saw too many times, right? We've seen it's happened one too many times of Jalen and Jason putting on an offensive display, but the Boston Celtics defensively couldn't hold up and lost the game. With this roster right here, there is one thing that I can guarantee you is that every single night they will be playing defense. Marcus Smart, Dennis Schroeder, Josh Richardson, excuse me. It's going to be like that all season. Al Horford, Robert Williams, Chris Dunn, Langford, Aaron Nesmith, right? These guys are less so those two guys, but they're guys that play defense, right? That's what they do is they step on the court and they make an impact, right? We've said it so many times, right? Or I'll talk to my friends about it. I'll be like, wow, did you see the game Robert Williams had last night? He was incredible. You look at the stat line, he only had 8 points, right?
Yeah.
But he was incredible still. And these are the type of guys we now have, right? Because the offense is going to be there. Jason and Jalen, they'll give you 25 each, 30 each. They will. They're gonna, right? But now guess what? Now we got guys that can stop the other opposing teams, the other opposing players, guys from getting 30, which we did not have before.
Yeah, and it makes me really confident to see our young guys right here in the summer league, just give up not even 90 points a game, right? Because, like I said, there's 7 of these guys on this roster that's going to be on the team, the official roster. Defense. The coaching staff that Brad Stevens has brought in is literally known and most famous for their defensive strategies and their defensive sets. Like you said, Rob, the offense is going to come, right? It's going to be there. Some nights it is, some nights it's not, but then you got to rely on the defense, and I'd love to rely on the defense that we have right now. Celtics are in a good direction.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to see a much different Boston Celtics team now. Because like we said, the past 2 years, even in 2020, defensively, yeah, they were a really good team, right? But you could thank Daniel Tice and Gordon Hayward for that. Those two aren't on the team anymore. So like we said last season, if Kemba Walker was off or he wasn't playing, there was virtually no help. He wasn't providing us anything. Because you got to think with Kemba Walker, he was missing a game a week. He was because we are going to play a back-to-back, or he was missing a game.
It was so.
And then within him missing a game, he'd have to take a game to get almost like warmed up for his one good game a week, right? So I'm just super excited to see a roster, right? When I look at this roster, as I drop my phone, as I look at this roster, right?
Yeah.
I see just a bunch of dogs. Something like, do you remember like 2017 when you looked at the Celtics roster? Kelly Olynyk, Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, Isaiah Thomas,
Gerald Green.
Like if I said Amir Johnson, if I said that lineup to you, do you really think first seed in the Eastern Conference? No. But Brad Stevens' game plan was so good, and they had the right scoring, they had the right defense, they had the right everything to get the job done. Boston Celtics, they got the scoring, they got the defense, they got the rim protection. They're lacking a little bit in the playmaking department, a little bit, but they still got it, right? They got the depth. This is finally a Celtics ball club that's going to take you to the 3 seed, I think, is their peak. I think the absolute floor, maybe 2 seeds their peak. I think their floor is 5 seed. I think is their floor.
Yeah, I definitely don't think their floor is 11 seed like people
Not
are
at
putting
all.
them. And I'm not speaking bias. I genuinely believe that the Celtics are a 3 to 5 seed, or maybe even bump up to the 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who really knows?
Yeah.
And it's a long season, and I don't think the roster's finalized. Whether that means we gain more players or we lose any play, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't know if this roster is finalized. We still have a 2-way contract available. I don't know, and I'm really liking that Sam Hauser. I know he only had like one decent game, but he's gonna have
It's
a big opportunity tonight, as we are just moments away from the tip. Where he's gonna have a great night.
Well, yeah, real quick before we close this out, like we
Hmm.
said, something Celtics fans have been looking for is a stretch 4. And Sam Hauser's proven he is 6'9", 6'8".
Yep.
That he can, maybe step in there, get some minutes here as this upcoming season. He's on a 2-way deal, but you never know. When you got a shooter on the other on the court, look at Duncan Robinson. They can step in and make a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah. You can. Do you want to go?
No. I was just gonna say I was agreeing with you. I just was thinking out loud.
No, yeah, but like we said, Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, 5 p.m. Eastern
Hopefully.
time. Hopefully, we say. I mean, last time it was
We
brutal.
could have done a whole ass other pregame show
Oh
along with
yeah,
that.
I was texting Justin and I was like, "What is going on, dude? It's
Mhm.
45 minutes past when their tip off."
Yeah.
So let's see. We can only hope. But go follow us on Instagram and all of our social medias. You can see them up at the top up there.
We look like idiots.
Because-
It's like
Yeah, I know.
reverse. That's why.
Yeah. So go look at it up at the top. There is no post game show today, like there usually is. But with that being said, go check us out on our social medias. You guys have been showing amazing support. I'm Rob. That is Justin over there. Go Celtics.